I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of different dogs and thousands of different owners, and that has allowed me to work with countless different breeds of dogs. And like all dog trainers, you're peering behind the curtain here, we have our favourite breeds to train and we have our least favourite breeds to train. And in today's video, I want to talk about my 3 least favourite dog breeds to work with. So the first breed that I always sigh if I realise I'm going to be working with is the Siberian Husky. The Siberian Husky for me is a very frustrating and challenging dog to train. And in my experience, Siberian Huskies are almost cat-like dogs. They have very, very little desire to please their owner, to please their handler, to please their trainers. They know what they want and all they care about is getting what they want. And having to get what they want by complying and working with you is rarely something that they have a deep desire to do, which means that even from the starting point, things are naturally going to be very challenging. They're also ludicrously high energy dogs that are bred to be able to run 10, 20, 30 miles a day in brutal conditions, pulling extremely heavy sleds. And then we bring them into our home and expect them to be happy and content with a 20-minute walk round the block once a day. Again, setting them and ourselves up to fail before we've even started. And then on top of all of that, they tend to be extreme drama queens. Now, it's no secret that I am a proponent of a balanced training methodology. Yes, I love doing tons of positive reinforcement work. I use tons of reward. But in my role as a canine behaviourist, when somebody brings a husky to me that is aggressive, is dominant, is reactive, is pulling, is jumping up people, is being incredibly demanding of people, there are going to be times where I'm going to challenge those behaviours. And I may challenge those behaviours with a variety of different equipment and tools. And I might challenge those behaviours with one of my dogs that I've got here, and it's no problem whatsoever. They don't even bat an eyelid. You tap a husky on the side like that and you might as well have shot them, and they're squealing and howling like the world's ending. They're incredibly dramatic dogs, which makes it more challenging, frankly quite embarrassing, and just more difficult to work with. They are very, very, very high on the list of a dog breed that I would never choose to own myself in the future. So then the second breed that I'm really not a huge fan of is anything a poo. Cockapoos, cavapoos, you name it a poos. They're just the breeds that I find can be incredibly challenging and difficult to work with. But for this one, it's not just about the dog. I find that the people that gravitate towards the Apu breeds tend to be the kind of people that make the cardinal sin of humanizing dogs, of anthropomorphizing dogs and treating them as humans. As we know, if you followed my channel for any amount of time, can create huge problems, and that tends to be the case. So you have to spend a lot of work unpicking those bad habits and teaching those people how to be better canine leaders. On top of that, because of the boom, especially here in the UK, of the Apu breeds, Cockapoos in particular, they have been overbred. They are one of the main breeds that you'll find in puppy mills, and because people aren't doing their research about breeders, that overbreeding has triggered what I think to be a deep problem with the psychological and the neurological problems with many of the dogs in that breed. So things like cocker rage with Cockapoos is something that I'm seeing a lot of. Now, don't get me wrong, I've also seen lots of really good Apu breeds. It certainly isn't a blanket statement, but if I'm being super honest, yeah, that is one of the breeds that I can't ever say I'm excited to work with. Now, my third least favourite breed to train might be a surprise to those of you that know I really like big, powerful Mastiff breeds, but it has to be the Caucasian Shepherd or the Central Asian Shepherds. Luckily, they're incredibly rare, so I've only had to work with a handful of them myself, but the only time that I tend to ever get approached about working with them is when they have gone terribly wrong, and we're talking about biting, mauling, or killing other animals usually, and to regain some kind of control. It's not that I don't enjoy training them, but it's definitely one of the breeds that I get very nervous about working with, is simply because they are the dogs that, quite frankly, and I'm not ashamed to say it, scare me the most. I've been in the presence of some of those dogs where I thought that genuinely, if you want to hurt me, there's not much I can do about it. And if you're working with one of these dogs that isn't already muzzle trained, that doesn't have a muzzle on, that doesn't have any kind of lead or equipment on that you can utilize, and you have to be the first person to try and achieve getting those things on with a dog that is displaying incredibly dangerous, reactive, aggressive and violent behavior, oh yeah, those certainly aren't the cases that excite me. And those are certainly the breeds that very, very, very few people should ever truly own, because when it goes wrong with those dogs, it's borderline impossible to turn that round and get that kind of dog back on track. You have to get it right first time round, and to get it right first time round, you had better be an experienced, dedicated, incredibly competent and confident canine leader, or it will go horribly wrong. And when it goes horribly wrong, people's lives are at risk, and dogs and other animals' lives are at risk. So they're the breeds that scare me most, and therefore are the breeds that I can't exactly say I'm ever excited about the potential of working with. So we are going to do a future video where I'm going to break down my 3 favourite breeds to train. So if you're interested in that and you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We make videos like this every single week to help you become the perfect canine leader, to have perfect canine companions. So we'll see you on the next video.